Welcome to the Kings of Sport, the program that's changing the game one show at a time. With your hosts, Nate Milton.
Yes! That boy's good.
And Marcus Vanderberg.
West Side!
So sit back and relax, because you're now down with the Kings.
Down with the king for years, about 10 of them. Recruiting suckers, macking, micing, making men of them. Tears and fears for my peers, they risen. You think that it is, if not it isn't. Race for the border, my daughter could beat her banging out. Chiefs rocking beats in the streets and it's time for hanging out. Gather, or rather from a circle right out loud. Just cause brothers or others could never...
And welcome to the Kings of Sport, the program. Changing the game one show at a time, a.k.a. the world's most dangerous sports show, a.k.a. iTunes' longest running weekly episodic program produced and hosted by two or more African Americans who are not affiliated with a major network. I am one of your hosts, the Godfather Nate Milton, and we are joining you this week for a very special bonus episode of the podcast. I don't even know why I'm trying to be mysterious, because if you can read the description, you know what this episode is about. You know why it's like not an hour and a half long like our usual episodes. So you know all the things you need to know going in, except for what we are going to announce this week. So to facilitate that, let me bring in my partner in crime, my tag team partner, the man that hails from the City of Angels. Y'all give it up for Marcus. Trying to think of a good hair joke. For Marcus, my swimming cap is not allowed by the IOC Vanderberg.
Oh, come on.
The shape of my head is not appreciated by the IOC. What's going on, Marcus Vanderberg?
Be better, Nate. Come on. How are you?
I'm good, brother. I'm good. Like it feels like we just got through talking to each other. Like our last episode was a fun episode talking on the NBA Finals with our guest SP3. But we wanted to get back on the mics as soon as possible to let you guys know about what's been going on behind the scenes here at the Kings of Sport International headquarters. But I'm feeling good, Marcus, because I think the listeners might be surprised by what we're about to say, but it's going to work out for the best in the end.
Yes. So, an announcement regarding the future of the show. I will be stepping down from the show, from the Kings of Sport. My last episode will be recorded on Tuesday, July 13th. The reason why, and I'm not going to pull a Kanawa and just disappear in the night. Nate is very aware about what's going to happen with the show. I approached him and let him know. But
who does that? Who?
I know. The people who give 3 weeks notice at a job. That's who does it. So I am. My last day at Yahoo Sports was today, Friday. And where I'm going, it just does not work with my new work obligations in doing the show. Therefore, I will step down from the show. And the good news is I can still podcast. It just can't be about sports. So Nate and I will spend the time over the summer to figure out what we can sort of banter about that's not related to sports. And we don't have a set topic, a set date, but considering it's already July, I would say maybe by the fall we'll have something lined up, ready to go that will reunite us. But also, in addition to that, you will still get the Kings of Sport, and Nate will he can fill you better in on terms of what the show will be going forward.
I was gonna say this might be time for Marcus to take that trip through the MCU.
Ooh. As well, might be a conflict there, but we'll check on that.
I just thought about that. There's a lot of moving parts we got to figure out first.
Yes, but that could be that could be a that could last for a whole year, really. There's, what, 20 something, and I've seen like 1.5. So
You've seen like Black Panther and half
Black
of
Panther and Guardians. That's it.
half of Guardians.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Marcus was saying, like the Kings of Sport podcast is going to keep going. I'll still be here. We're actively, as of this recording, even before this recording, looking for a person or people to fill in for the shoes of Marcus. Like, they can't replace Marcus, but we will find somebody, so it's not just me talking for 2 hours every week by myself. But I think, that it's going to be different for a while, but it's going to work out, because I think, once we figure out how Marcus can still be a part of the team without talking about sports, like Marcus will still be here. He just won't be here the way you're used to hearing him, the way you've been used to hearing him since 2013, but he's still going to be a part of this. And then whoever we bring in, to work with me on the main show, like they'll be a part of, we're not going to pick no suckers. We ain't going to pick no busters. We're going to pick some good people that can work with the show and work with the audience that has been riding with us since 2013. So I'm excited, Marcus. Like, I think it's going to be a new chapter for both of us. But I think that, the audience that is, come to know us and then the way we do our show and the way we talk about things, it's going to be an adjustment, but ultimately I think they're going to be satisfied with how we, kind of make this transition.
And the positive about this is, I think with me departing, it will allow fresh Black voices to sort of have a platform. And I think that's something we've always thought about since day one.
Yeah.
Is how do we use this show to elevate people in the industry that maybe don't have voices? And I think this will be very deliberate and very intentional now in terms of how do we get more people on the show that can have a platform and sort of attach to a show that's now been running for 8 years.
Yeah, like when and again, it's funny going back and listening to the old Patreon episodes, patreon.com/the Kings of Sport from 2013. Like, when we started, we were like the new kids on the block, Marcus. We were the fresh young talent in the game, and now we're not so fresh anymore. We're not so young anymore, but we're still in the game. And so I agree. Like, one of the things we've always kind of wanted to do is give people the opportunity to speak their voices, because that's part of the reason we started the show, is that there weren't a lot of voices like ours that were being amplified. And so, yeah, like whether we're talking about younger Black voices or female voices, which is still something sorely lacking in the game right now. Like, I feel like that's something that, this kind of change allows us to do, Marcus, in a natural way. Like, it's like, okay, we can just find the voices that fit and find the voices that have been needing a home, and we can, kind of work together and keep this thing moving.
Yeah, and we are not going to hit 10 years together, but 2023, it still lines up with WrestleMania. So, assuming that Nate gets his butt on a plane and comes to Los Angeles, we will figure out some type of show for the 10-year anniversary of the podcast.
Yeah.
It might not be about sports. It might not be about WrestleMania, but we will have some type of show.
We'll put Marcus in a bubble where, like, we can, like, whatever establishment we're at, we'll just talk about the food.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
Marcus, how was your burger? We'll bring back Vanderburgers for one night.
There we go.
By the way, have you met Big Nasty Alfred Cunningham? The ultimate reunion.
I would like to get Alfred back for
the 10-year anniversary.
Yeah.
I don't know whatever happened to Alfred. That's a mystery we'll never know.
I saw him. What was that? Dallas. That was the last time I saw him. I sat next to him in the press box, which I thought was a funny rib by WWE to sit us together. But that was, Dallas was already, that's been 5 years ago now. Was that 2016?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. I haven't seen him in 5 years. Or talked to him,
which is funny because like he lives in your city.
He does.
Like in my head, like you and Chris and Alfred like bump into each other all the time.
And in reality, Chris lives way far, and so does Alfred for me. So, but yeah, that's the announcement.
Yep.
And as I mentioned, one more show for next week. I don't know what we're going to be talking about, to be honest. It'd be during the finals. So
yeah.
We will probably not do anything out of the norm. I don't want to consider this like a goodbye because, as we mentioned, we will find a way to do a show. It just won't be about sports.
Who knows? Maybe I'll get you a nice transitioning present and bring back the favorite guest that you always wanted every year. See what his availability is like.
Okay.
That's still one of the funniest moments from the early days of the show when I brought Dennis Black and Asian on the show and Marcus was just so disrespectful to this man.
Sorry, Dennis.
That's not who I wanted. But yeah, like Marcus is saying, man, like it's gonna be some changes, but we gonna make the most of it. And again, like I would look at it if I'm out there listening, like this is a something that could be really cool because you're gonna hear some young voices. Like I guess I could kind of spoil something because one of the voices I've been talking to is Andrew Thompson from Post Wrestling, and Andrew has been looking to do some different things, particularly when it comes to sports. And so like Andrew Thompson is a voice you might hear more of here at the Kings of Sport. And so like younger voices like that. And then again, we're still looking to find the right mix of people or the person or people who fill Marcus's seat. But it's going to be fun, man. It's going to be good. And, Marcus, like he said, once we kind of figure out the logistics of what we can talk about, then he'll be back in some capacity. And him and I'll keep this thing going that we started all them years ago, Marcus.
Yes. And I don't know yet if I can publicly announce on even a NetSuite show what's next for me. I would say if I don't mention it on the podcast, then I would say just check Twitter on let's say July 19th, and I can fill you guys in on what's next for me.
Interesting. But so I know somebody's out there trying to put together the clues from stuff we'd already said.
Yeah, I mean
Is Marcus going to the WWE? I spoiled it, Marcus. Marcus is the new head writer for Raw.
I'm taking
Kinesis spot.
I'm taking the black spot on the team, and
it's like a black spot opened up. I had to take it, Nate.
I had to take it. I'm going to Stamford, Connecticut.
I got to go work with Bobby Ashley. Shout out to that sister though, because I know that situation was terrible, but hopefully like they broke her off like with a nice little severance package.
I mean, first 90 days of a job, you're not.
That's right. She was still in her probation period.
Yeah, so she might have just had a one-way ticket out of
2 weeks. Yep. Damn. So. Yeah. Hopefully that's not the situation that happens with Marcus Vanderberg as he goes to work for Vince, but we'll see.
I mean, if that happens, I'm back on the show in 2 weeks. So
yeah,
that's the upside.
Look, you are friends with your boy Paul, with your boy Hunter. So
with all the Pauls,
So who knows? Yes. Marcus Vanderberg could be the new head writer for Raw. So we spoiled the surprise, but congratulations, Marcus. Alex Greenfield walked so that you might fly.
Thank you.
So, but yeah, we'll have more information next week for you guys and girls, and we'll save all the flowery words for Marcus for next week.
Yeah, bring it on, Jermaine. Come shower me with your love.
That's what I want to see. I want to see Jermaine find a way to hate on Marcus leaving.
He'll find a way.
He's thinking about it, especially when he hears that you're going to be going to work with Roman Reigns.
Yes, I'm
Like you're Public Enemy #1 for him.
Like the true champion that he is. the John Cena of this generation.
The head of the table. So, so that's what we got coming up for the Kings of Sport podcast. Some changes on the horizon, but we're going to keep doing what we do and what we've been doing for the last 8 years. And, I'm looking forward. I'm not looking forward to Marcus leaving, but I'm looking forward to seeing what the future is for this show.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing for me was making sure the show didn't just die. So, and I when I reached out to Nate and told him originally that I couldn't do the show, I think I mentioned like an Andrew Thompson-like person. So
yeah,
we both think highly of Andrew and what he brings to the post community. And then we found out that Andrew is into other sports besides wrestling. So
yeah, and I think like once who knows, maybe we'll even reach out to Andrew to come on next week.
Yeah, let's try to do that.
Because there's a funny story behind the recruitment process of Andrew Thompson. So yeah, we'll talk to Andrew Thompson next week and maybe have another special guest for Marcus's not Marcus's going away party, but his so long for now party.
Yes,
his Sting party, his ta-ta for now. Mm-hmm. Like that was his thing for Sting and Impact. Like that was his catchphrase for like 2 or 3 years. Like why? Like, nigga, did you get that from Tigger? So unless you got anything else, Marcus, we can kind of wrap this thing up.
That's all I got.
All right. So stay tuned next week for the season finale of Marcus Vanderberg on the Kings of Sport. We're going to have some fun next week. Andrew Thompson, maybe some other guests popping in, Jermaine and the rest of the haters in the chat, of course. But until then, stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed to the podcast feed because that's where, even when things change, you'll get the podcast on that feed. If you haven't, sign up for the Patreon because, now that Marcus is not going to be on the main show, that opens things up for the Patreon maybe for Marcus to do some different things. And again, we have to see what Marcus can talk about, but there's a lot of things we could do possibly out there. So we'll check in next week for the big show, and we'll have some fun. So for Marcus Vanderberg, I'm the Godfather Nate Milton. I was trying to think of another WWE joke.
I was thinking of a Bret Hart joke where I was just going to.
Yes. That's a hilarious joke, but it only works if you're watching this, which none of you are.
Yeah. Well, the more incentive to, pay some money.
Yeah. Because you've been down with the Kings.
Well, that's all for this week's edition of the Kings of Sport. Be sure to come back next week for an all-new episode. You can leave feedback for the show on Twitter at KOS_POD or via Gmail at thekingsofsport@gmail.com. Don't forget to like and rate us on iTunes and tell a friend. The Kings of Sport is a production of the Mosaic Podcast Network.
Whether you like it or not, he's back. DADDY, fat sex.
Let me tell you something, Mean Gene. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna leave it all on the mat. Cause that's what I do when I get it done so I can do it. Yeah!
I'm on a new level.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
Thanks for the footlong, IRL Marshawn. No problem, Tiny Virtual Marshawn.